Hello and welcome to a fresh episode of Enterprise Morning here on Enterprise Television. I'm Chinyere Igwe Odu, and of course I'm not alone as usual.
I am Henry Igwe.
Great. All right, we move now into our newspaper headlines, but also implore you to visit our pages across social media at Enterprise TV7. You may like, comment, follow, and subscribe on our Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube at Enterprise TV. Plus, you may also visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Our guest for the segment is no other than the legal luminary, Barrister Evans Ofeli. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning, thank you. It's my pleasure.
You're welcome. All right, let's get right into the segment. We're beginning with the Tribune newspaper, and we have the big story there. Despite federal government's assurance of economy picking up, food prices still high. Henry, what do you have?
I think in the same story we have at the bottom strip of the same newspaper, NAV air strikes hit terrorist in Katsina and Borno State.
Just above the masthead, Buhari's government ended electricity subsidy in 2022, and this is credited to Falano.
Exactly, and still on the top strip of the same newspaper, I am not leaving Labour Party, and that's coming from Peter Obi.
All right, below we have Article knocks Tinubu over alleged secrecy in Lagos Calabar Highway project.
And finally, we have Kogi attacks. We want government to assist us return home victims.
That's
Cry
the story we are looking at this morning. We're considering on the Tribune newspaper this morning. Kogi attacks. We want government to assist us return home victims. Cry out. And our guest is the legal luminary, as I earlier said, Barrister Evans Ofeli. Thank you so much, sir. All right, so this particular story has ruffled a few feathers. Security for me is quite cardinal because every other thing thrives on security. Looking at Kogi and how it is placed, do you have any worry that we are seeing these attacks, even though sometime last year there are stories all over the place about how SDP was fingered in trying to destabilize the state and all of that. But in some quarters, some people are also saying that this might be the work of the opposition. Do you share that bias?
Yeah, you see, at the heart of every attack of the public, Nigerian public, lies politics. Politics is playing a very big role in the several attacks against the Nigerian public. Now, politics is supposed to be the clearinghouse for which you build momentum, and the public will subject themselves to the person thrown up by political parties and make their choices, and governance is created, is developed. That politics itself, which is supposed to be the forerunner for governance, have now become the people's albatross, because politicians now use that politics. They create an arm of violence from the same public, empower them with rifles, empower them with different kind of ammunition to go distort the peace and tranquilities in the area where they know that they don't have strong points during and after elections. During election to distort the opposition. After election to make the opposition look like they are incapable of governing. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yes, so they use as a weaponry, a machinery to destabilize, so that it could be clear, the people could see that, oh, the people we voted for, they are unable to govern. There's insecurity, they promise us safety. Okay, there's no social amenities, they promise us all. So these persons are saboteurs. They are still within the political class. Okay, over the weekend I read about one of the states where someone is making accusation against the governor of how the governor assembled and created a group. Called it a vigilante group, but they were actually involved in cattle rustling, killing people, farmers, Fulanis and all that. It's a governor that created it. In fact, mounted pressure on the leader of Meetiala to go create it. Now, after it was created, it became, what they use to harsh violence against opposition. So The Nigerian politicians have done too many incalculable damage against the citizens. Okay? Well, it's unfortunate that the citizens are unable to read in between the lines. And the reportage around these areas are quite not. The media have done, they have reported to a point where in those very deep flashpoint and crisis, they are unable to report. Sometimes you get the information from the foreign media. You understand? So the Nigerian public must choose in between their lives, preserving their lives, and uprooting these wicked politicians who have decided that the people will not have peace until they are in power. And even when they get to power, the opposition too will create another one. Exactly. So politicians are really dealing with this society.
That's so very unfortunate. Well, let's move on to the Daily Trust newspaper. And the big story there says the Nigerians in UAE stranded over work permit and visa ban.
All right, just above the big story, we have Atiku tackles Tinubu over Lagos-Calabar Highway project.
And also CBN sacks another 40 staff. And right below the same story, we have a palliative, and I die in stampede in Wamaku's house. Barrister, let's take a look at this issue of Atiku tackling Tinubu over Lagos-Calabar Highway. Now, this project started during the administration of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, where the budget for that particular coastal highway was set at $11.9 billion. Now, it wasn't, possible because, of course, Jonathan didn't continue. It moved over to Muhammad Buhari. Of course, we equally did the same thing, but it didn't continue. Now, the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has come up to say that they are not going to go by investing such huge sum of amount in constructing that highway. Now, it's more on a public-private partnership, where the private owners who would construct, then use tools to make up their money 4 years. Atiku is saying that it's not the best bet for Nigerians. Why should Nigerians pay tolls for what government should greatly do? Do you buy in that bias?
I agree with Atiku. Government should provide facilities for the masses. What is government really doing in this country? And when it comes to road construction and toll, I cannot trust Tinubu at all. I can't trust him. If not that there was an NSAS protest that ended the toll he was taking from Lekki toll gate down, Lekki Plaza toll gate down, we will still be paying those tolls today. In fact, they had to, because they saw the success that the first one was created, they mounted another one, Lekki second toll gate. And that project was for 25 years.
Whoa.
And the road is even going bad already. So what are you paying for 25? So if it's toll and Tinubu is involved, I don't trust that 4 years he's talking about. Because that 4 years will mean another 35 years. Because he does that all the time. I mean, the responsibility of government is to provide for the security and welfare of the people. Road has to do with welfare of the people. Okay? So the government should fund it. They don't have to tow it. I know that there are people who argue that if you go to some countries, they told this and told that, they told this. Well, at least in those countries, the contracts are clear, not in secrecy. What it is you are paying is clear, it's quite... but this one is saying, I think the government should construct that road for the citizens. That is actually why government exists. Otherwise, if you are saying they will pay toll, then you have to give them tax holidays on other areas. Because part of our tax... The tax we pay is actually what is going to do that road. So exactly. The social contract theory. If you now ask us to pay another toll, that's multiple taxation, and it's an offense under the law. You cannot tax a citizen twice for the same project. It's wrong. So the government should fix that road. The second one that's coming from Abuja to Lagos, they should fix all those roads. It's not rocket science. We've traveled to countries where they have roads. Too much roads. Some roads are straight into the forest and nobody uses abroad. So let them do road.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister. Henry, let's quickly look at the story at the same Daily Trust.
Okay.
Palliatives, 9 die in stampede in Wamako's house. For a bit, I'll just take that story and allow the barrister to react to it. The stampede occurred on Thursday night as residents struggled for palliatives being shared at the home of the lawmaker in the Gabon Nama area of Sokoto. Many others were also said to have died. But the unfortunate thing here is the cable understands that a volunteer operative of the Nigerian Security and Defense Civil Defense Corps NSCDC was also among those who died in the incident. We have on this platform talked about the best way for government to go about palliatives, even though you have said you don't even believe in the palliative thing because there are better ways or approaches the government should adopt instead of this run-of-the-mill approach. We have seen again that 9 people are said to have died allegedly. I mean, it's shameful. Why do we always see this happening in the news, Barrister?
Yes, because we have refused to change our approach to sharing palliatives. You see, you don't have to gather this palliative and bring everybody to one point. That's the reason you have the internet and you have technology. Okay? These persons you want to give palliative, they belong to a community. Okay? You can set up a committee that will go take their account details and you do a cash transfer to them. Then they go buy their palliative. They go buy whatever it is they need. Sometimes when you're even giving people palliative bags of rice, that might not be even what they need. It's because that is what is available. Okay? So we should stop that because there's always going to be stampede because people are hungry. People are so hungry that there's no way they will not be stampede. People are hungry over so many things. I remember sometimes in one of the crusades then in Benin when Rabonki came, people who are also tasty and hungry for spiritual need were all stampeded. Over 16 persons died. Now, when you now bring food and you gather a community, you cannot control them. You cannot control the crowd. You are taking. So, I mean, some of these people who are giving this palliative should be charged for manslaughter. Yes, they should be charged for manslaughter because that act is creating more problem for us than we can even solve. When a life is lost, you can't restore it.
Very true. Very true. All right, so finally, let's move on to the Punch newspaper for today. And the banner headline here says, federal government plans 3 national ID cards for 104 million Nigerians. And that started from June of this year.
And then the rider goes, NIMC awaits presidential approval for May launch, says procurement will be seamless.
And the sub-rider on that same story says Nigerians to get different e-cards for banking, social intervention, ECOWAS activities.
All right, we have the cherry news here below the big story. Female London-Lagos solo driver gets heroic welcome.
Congratulations to her.
Yes.
And on the top stream of the same newspaper, 2.3 billion naira Siemens power project transformer substation arrives in Nigeria.
All right. Also below the big story, we have Lagos terminates multi-billion naira Katangwa market contract.
And finally, we have dollar video. A released report of Ganduje's probe and Kano tells EFCC.
Right.
Barrister, let's take a look at 2 very important stories here. Number 1 is on the federal government plan for 3 national ID cards for Nigerians. We just got off the so many we can't even remember, from BVN to NIN to so many. And you know the process Nigerians went through getting that. They paid through their nose, literally, to get some of this. And now the federal government is reintroducing 3 more ID cards. What is enough of identification?
I think we're very confused. We're just, God, this is the era where they are saying, get all the data of your citizens, okay, and get it upon birth when a child is born. You know that when a child is born, the hospital, everybody's clueless. Government is not there to witness the birth of a child. The population census, they are not there to witness the birth of a child. And every other, so now, instead of you to devise a program where at every hospital and every birth center or maternity, you're able to take the records of how many persons have been born in a day across the country, how many in a week, how many in a month, so that you can track down the identity of citizens, so that you are able to ward off foreigners who come into the country. They have PVCs, they have BVN, they have national identity card, they have everything.
Passport.
Yes. If you control it from the birth stage, when you get the data there, By the time foreigners come in and they want to go and obtain this thing, it will pop up from the record upon birth that you are not a Nigerian. And even if you were, and the hospital where they gave birth to that person, they didn't capture that, you will be treated as a non-Nigerian. When you put it that way, people begin to have, now you're introducing three different, I have an international passport, I have national identity card, I have a driver's license, I have a BVN, I have, what else again do I have? That this country, I have NIN.
Yes, and the NIN, and the ones you used to cast votes.
Yes, the voters'
cards, yes.
You understand? So I have 6 or 7 this thing. I mean, the country is bothering me with all this to just identify me. You understand? And I think those who come up with those policies, I think we have to go to court to restrain, to get a restraining order on this nonsense. Because it's nonsense. I'll go and check up that law that was passed 2 years back. It has to do with the Data Citizens Data Identity Act. Yes, it's a law that defines how. I know that this thing they are saying must breach a section there. So that will be the relevant extant law to bring an action to restrain them from, from this. This is disturbance. What the people need is security and welfare. It's not carrying different kind of ID card all over the place. I mean, these are citizens who are already suffering from government ineptitude. Now, government want to further engage, destabilize people, disturb people. Not like you even have the manpower to run this thing. When it starts now, they ask you to wake up around 2 a.m. to go and queue. When you queue, when they want to take it, some funny government officials start to demand for money.
Exactly.
And before you know it, the entire everywhere is agog. The banks will tell you that they will not attend to you if you don't bring the tray. And all that. So I don't think we should be doing this.
Very true. All right, so...
all right, thank you so much, Barrister, for your thoughts. That'll be all on the newspaper segment. Henry.
Yes, when we return, President of the Miyate Allah, Kautal Hurre Bello Bodejo, claims the Nasarawa State Governor, Abdullahi Sule, pressured him into forming the Fulani Vigilance Group, Kungir Zaman Lahia, for which he's being put under arrest. That in a bit. When we come back, please don't go anywhere.